Maria
Hi,
Martinez.
everyone.
Hey, hey, Govcon Giants. I know we're gonna get some people some time to join us. It's 7:05. We're gonna have a good session today. I see we've got somebody Garcia already waiting, and I know once the notifications hit, more people will join us momentarily. I've got Maria Martinez on today. What's up, Maria?
Hey, everyone. Nothing much. Trying to gather everything and do this and answer people's questions out there because I know there's a lot because I was there once. So I am here to answer every question you guys have right
And later on, we're going to bring some of our other coaches throughout this session today. So if you miss it, go back and catch it on replay. We're going to bring on the coaches. They're going to talk about some of their experiences and things that they can offer. Like I said, most of us are aware that this is the last couple of days for our 2.0 course bundle. And so we want to come on, answer questions, talk about a little bit about what we do. A lot of folks see me and they only see me. And so they think like I'm the only person behind this whole machine. And there's really a lot of us working at this. So welcome, Gilbert. Welcome, Garcia. Let us know who's out there. 8 people watching. Definitely put your name in the comments. Let us know you're here. Tell us your business, the city and state that you're from. Again, I always tell people use this as your opportunity, your networking event that you can network because a lot of times relationships is the key. And so I want you to be able to make connections any and all places. And Maria's actually going to share a success story coming up in a moment here. So we're welcome everyone here. Welcome, Freddie, Gilbert. Good evening, Justin. Glad to have you here today with us. Let us know again your business and the city and state that you're from. So we can definitely, when we're having conversations and we're answering questions, then we can really address these particular issues to you and your business and not just, what Eric thinks is right. So Stephanie Parker follows instructions very well.
now.
What's up, Stephanie Richardson Parker? I have to say Stephanie Richardson Parker. I don't want to forget the Richardson. So, all right.
It's good that they follow instructions because you've told me since the beginning, and other people, our podcast guests have told me that you have to be able to read and write. If you could read and write, you're able to do this. So it starts off in the simple here, YouTube Live. Listen to directions and follow them, and you'll be successful in this field.
All right. So, Maria, you had something happen to you recently. You went to a conference this past week. Tell us about it.
Yes. So it goes back, and I'll tell you guys a little bit background. I've been gone for about a few months, and once I decided to do the podcast again, I actually got motivated, and that's what's great about our community is that we motivate each other and push each other. And a lot of people have seen me on YouTube, and a lot of people see my story, but a lot of people don't know that I could be an introvert, especially in large groups. I tend to shy away. So one of the things I wanted to do this time around was push myself out of my comfort zone. And that includes going to conferences as myself and being out there with people and networking because I know the importance of relationships and the importance of networking. So it goes back to our Tuesdays calls when you told us apply for the big machinery credits. And the second step was to go out there to have networking with these organizations. So I went ahead and registered with SAMI, which is a national organization, and we have a chapter here in South Florida. So I registered, and like within a week, I saw that they were having a luncheon down in
Hold
South
on,
Florida.
Maria, hold on 1 second. Now, you're doing like myself. You were talking in acronyms. People don't know what SAMI is. What's SAMI?
Hold on, because I have to Google it because I always get it messed up.
Society of American Military Engineers.
There you go. Thank you.
All right. So
So
talk to the people.
So I actually saw that they had a luncheon coming up. And like Stephanie and Sheena said in the YouTube live, it was that we have to get out there. And not only that you're going to say you went to a meeting or you went to a networking event, but actually make the most out of it. Make your most time. If you're going to take off, like I did, a day off of work, drive 60 miles to get there and pay for this luncheon, then make every single penny and your time and every single minute worth it. So I went, I got it all dressed up, and showed up about 10 minutes early. And like I said, there's a group of people there, about 3 or 4 people. And right away, I got out of my comfort zone right away. And I made sure that I walked in, I introduced myself to all 3 people. One of them happened to be the speaker. The other one happened to be the president of the chapter here in South Florida. So right away, we made small talk. What do we do? But then you have to have that memorable moment, because people are not going to remember you and what you do, but people are going to remember some things that you spoke about. So when I was talking to the speaker, we spoke about the school system and her grandson and moving to South Florida, things like that. So it's just making those connections right away.
All right, give me a second. Let me cut you off 1 second, please. All right, for all the people joining us now, make sure to put in the chat your city, your state, or state, your industry that you're from. Let us know who's in the building. What's up, Eric? Welcome, Freddie Gaines. I see you, Gilbert. So let us know, Justin, if you're here, drop in the particular chat, because again, we want to connect everyone together. We are a community. You'll be so surprised how small this world is, this community is of government contractors. As we've stated in the past, 75,000 small businesses are eligible to do federal procurement. 67% of you, 2/3, will never win a contract. So we don't want you to be in that 2/3. We want you to be in the top 1/3. So let us know who's out here. We're going to be running for about 2 hours tonight, actually. So it's going to be fun. If you miss it, don't worry about it. You can always watch it on replay. But like I said, I wanted to open up a story from Maria, sharing her experience of joining the Society of American Military Engineers and what happened to her this week. And also, you already know, give me a thumbs up, hit the like button wherever you're on Facebook. If you're on YouTube, hit the like button, because the social media gods are out there watching. All right, Maria, continue the story.
So once the luncheon started, we all sat down, and you have to continue those conversations of what you do, what makes you unique. And it's not like we are just there to say, hi, my name is Maria, and call it a day. You have to put yourself out there. Tell them what you do, what makes you unique. So when the speaker was out there, I volunteer a lot for things, and that is my comfort zone. So it's funny, I was telling Eric, because once we started eating, the president was the one doing the slide, and I went ahead and told him, like, hey, let me do it, finish eating. Things like that, people remember you. You're going to be very personable when things happen. So, and like Eric said, it's a very small world out there in GovCon, because after everyone was asking questions, one of the engineers, the architects of the Coast Guard where I used to do work in, his question was that his biggest concern as being in that side of the government was that he doesn't have small businesses reaching out to him. He doesn't have small businesses that he knows that he could call for these smaller projects. He's like, my biggest problem is the small projects I don't have small businesses for. So I was like, oh, hold on. So when everything finished, I walked up to him and I told him, you know that problem you have of not having small businesses to take in those small projects? I'm like, I got the solution for you. Call me. That's it.
Wow.
So I'll take in all the small projects that you need. And we have a network of small businesses that are able to do those small projects. So that was the biggest thing. So we stood there for a good 10, 15 minutes after everything was done. And then people started coming up to me, handing me their business card, asking me for my business card. Because I told them about all the contracts I've done. I've told them about the connections I had. I told them about the podcast, and people were very interested in the podcast, getting stories out there, knowing how to do a podcast. So things like that is how you make that event worth your going. Just don't sit at a table, eat your food, and call it a day.
One of the things that Stephanie said on her interview, and I'll pull it up in a minute, was that if she's going to take time to leave her house, to leave her family, she's not going to stand in a corner at a networking event. And I want everyone to keep that in mind. If you're going to take time out away from your family, away from your job, away from your business, away from your organization, that costs you money, right? And so again, time is money. A lot of times we forget that time is money. So that costs you money. if you're going to take that time away, then make it worth your while. And Maria showed up early. How many people were there when you first showed up?
3.
Okay, so she showed up early. How early were you there?
Not even like 10 minutes early.
Look at that. 10 minutes early. So she shows up 10 minutes. You don't have to be an hour early. I would have been there an hour early, but that's just
I was in the car for an extra 5 minutes.
Okay, all right.
To, breathe, pray. Like I knew I was going to get out of this car and there was not going to be that shell that I put on. I was just going to go in there full force.
So again, Maria shows up 10 minutes early, meets the president of the organization, meets the speaker, right?
Yes.
Okay, just by being 10 minutes early, and then by volunteering to help, she then gets the opportunity. Other people know who she is, and they want to give her their cars. She meets the person from the Coast Guard who has contract opportunities for her. Or, well, I'm sorry, he says he can't find small businesses to fulfill his small business contracts. How many people have been to an event in the last month? How many people have been to an event? I'm going to go even further back. How many people have not been to an event this year? There's
going to be many. There has to be many. Just because even this organization, as big as it is, this is only their second event. And their first one was their industry day. And it was the first one they held in the whole nation. Like all the national organizations, all those branches, that was their very first one.
So again, now, so Maria goes to their second event, which I understand if, about people and they're afraid of COVID and things like that. So make sure you're safe and obviously follow all the protocols. However, this is a relationship business and people do business with people they like, know, and trust. And them having met Maria in person. Now, what Maria didn't tell you, right? Also was that she met a large business.
Oh, the Phelps people.
Yeah, Phelps people. Yeah. Anybody, a little bit Phelps people. So tell us, what was that interaction like? And tell us something that came out of it that was related to what we talked about on our Tuesday calls.
So, again, I went to this event not knowing anyone, and the people come up and we're all talking and they're like, oh, they're from Hensel and Phelps. I'm like, okay, nice to meet you, like everybody else. And I knew they were a large business when the speaker was like, raise your hand if you're a small business, raise your hand if you are medium business. And when she said, raise your hand if you're a large business, they raised their hand. And I was like, oh, they're not even in small business category. So, because one of the guys was from South Florida and the other one drove from Orlando. But they're based.
By the way, that building on the screen right now, Hensel Phelps built it. The Social Security Administration building, they built that. Just to give you perspective on how big they are, their size. All right, keep going, Maria.
So we're just having normal conversation, and the person that's next to them does water treatment. But the question he asked, and it's one of those moments that you're like, ugh, I knew it was going to come up eventually. Like Eric said this. He goes, do you guys rent large, heavy equipment to meet your small business goals?
Ooh.
So because they're a big business, depending on their contract, they have to meet a small business like performance goal. So he goes, the contract we have now, we do not. But if you guys send me your information, we'll certainly use you guys because that is an easy way for us to meet that requirement and that goal.
Now, this is sort of an inside track. If people are people who are actually in our program who've been on the Tuesday calls, like Stephanie, who else is in here? How many people, what did we talk about with the infrastructure plan? Remember, we talked about infrastructure plan and how small businesses can help large businesses meet their goals. This is one of the strategies that we taught. And at Maria's first event, this came up. So now let me just show you, because I don't think people understand. All right. Hensel Phelps. If you've heard of them or if you've not heard of them, they do the largest projects around the country, federal projects. Look at this. They build, resorts and convention centers, powertrain facility, energy plants. They do a lot of airport work. Look at this. Look at this. Okay, parking garages, stations. They built like the FIU new campuses off the highways. Like they do big Terminal 1 development program. They do $100 million plus billion-dollar type projects. Stephanie, what did you look at that? Hold on. What did you say? Yes, we just talked about this. That's right. We just spoke about this on our Tuesday calls. And this is what I mentioned to folks out there is that, when we are on our Tuesday calls for the people that register in Govcon 2.0, people ask a lot of questions that I don't always get a chance to answer publicly because, again, they're asking me specific things related to strategy about building their business. And so we can't, we are sharing that information with the people who decide that they want to actually do something with the information because they made that investment and commitment themselves. So it's funny because a lot of times the stuff that I talk about, it comes back full circle. And Maria, her first experience, she's like, she had to call me. It's like, you will not believe what happened today. And I'm like, what? By the way, now there's 25 people here on the line. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're going to go through, bring on our different coaches that are out here, some new things that we're going on, some of the experiences that they've sharing, what they've done. Also, just kind of as a reminder for everyone out there, that we actually, I'm going to share it on my screen. Hold on. All right. I'm going to drop the link in here. We are discontinuing our 2.0 bundle on November the 1st. That's Monday. So I'm going to go ahead and drop the link for everyone out here who's interested. We will be discontinuing this on Monday. However, one of the things that we are doing now that we just started recently was we did implement coaching because people want to ask questions. So you can now order a 30-minute executive call or a 30-minute call with one of our Govcon coaches. So we're going to have them on tonight sharing some insights with you. So you get a chance to meet some of our coaches and find out all about them. So if you're new, if you're just joining us, let us know, again, your city that you're in, your industry that you're from, and if your name is not on the screen, tell us your name as well. And also, as always, please give us a thumbs up. Hey, Maria, that's an awesome story. Let me just bring on Brandon real quick and give Brandon some airtime. No, you're not going. I'm gonna put Brandon up to the screen.
Okay, I'll put me on.
Hold on. Let me put Brandon on. Add Brandon to the screen. If my computer acted up. I've been having some computer issues, so let's see. It's moving a little bit slow. So Hensel, Phelps, and you talked about doing the rental equipment. And so you got some guests for a podcast. What else? I'm sorry.
Yes, I got, so in my one day, it was from 11:30. It was till 1, but I left till like 1:30. I got 2 podcast guests for you for Govcon Giants. I got the rental equipment from Hensel and Phelps. I got to meet and exchange information with an architect guy for the Coast Guard here in Miami. And somebody wants me to help them build a podcast. So there's so many things in one meeting. And all it took was, like I told people in that one, and I felt so excited and proud of myself that I had to make that like 1-minute clip for you because it's true. So you just have to get out there. It's not going to happen for you if you're not out there trying to make it happen.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. Tell us, while we're trying to get Brandon here on the screen, tell us some of the experiences that you have when you were working with students and the teaching of the breakout sessions for your consulting group.
So one of the things, and I tell people when I used to talk to them on the phone, one of the best things about being part of the Govcon 2.0 is the Tuesday calls. Tuesday calls is where you get a lot of information, where you get this community of people that know what you're talking about and are able to help you. And that's one of the things that we started. I think it was earlier this year. It was that the first Tuesday is the general Q&A when all of us get together and you get to ask any questions that you may have. And then the second Tuesday, we have a beginners. And then the third Tuesday of every month, we have breakout sessions. Breakout sessions, I see it very similar to small groups. If you go to church or something, or even other organizations, or when you do matchmakings, they break you out into different groups. We have 10 different groups. Everything is industry. So we have construction, we have IT, we have facilities, we have logistics, we have it all. We have proposal writing, we have consultants with clients, consultants without clients. I was over the consulting without clients because I love talking to beginners. I guess it's the kindergarten teacher in me that I want to help mold you, set that foundation. And that foundation is very, very important, because if you don't understand the basics, you can't be out there bidding stuff. You just can't. You're going to fail. And I've learned hard lessons in doing contracts. I had subs walk out at me. I had people try to change things. So having that foundation of knowing what to do, how to speak, it's very, very important. So on our Tuesdays calls, I did consultants with clients, and I told my group, I'm like, please ask questions. This is the time. I want it to be very open. I want it to be your comfort zone. You have to be comfortable asking anything. If you want to ask me about a DUNS number, ask me about a DUNS number. If you want to ask me what is an RFP, ask me what's an RFP. This is the chance that you're going to get to ask basic questions. Somebody wanted to know how to fill out a sources thought. How do I get a forecast list? So we go through those things, and on Tuesday's calls, we have that 45 minutes to an hour for me to share my screen. We're going to do this together. I am not just going to sit here and show you examples. No, we're going to go through it. I'll log in to Google from the beginning to the basics to the end of what am I going to write? What do they want? How do they want it? Things like that. And that's so important for the Tuesday groups, because you get to ask anything while we're going through it. So it's like we're calling it learning sessions as well. So we have the breakout sessions, and then we have a learning session. Last week, we did all about sources thought. And I went from right where the beginning of what it is, where we find them, how to respond, how it looks like. We pulled up the template, and the template you could get from our website. It is free. It is not just for us in the inside. It is for everyone. We have a template out there for the letter of interest or letter of intent of what it is. But we went more into depth of how it's structured, what they want to see, how they want to see it, how do you even break it down? Just because we open up scope of works and people look at it and are so confused. So it's very, very important. So the best thing you get out of 2.0 are those Tuesday calls. So we're going to have learning sessions. You're going to have breakout sessions that are people within your industry. But also the best thing is going to be, we're going to start bringing out speakers, like experts in their own field, to be able to come in and teach you. Ask them questions. These people's time costs money. And within our program, you're going to get it for free. So that's my take on all of our Tuesdays calls.
So some of you might have been to our website and you've seen the community app. I'm putting the number on here before. This is a number where it says text Eric. So that number, we answer questions from just the general public and you subscribers, YouTube people like that. So Brandon actually does a lot of the marketing behind the scenes. And so I brought him on just to share some of the questions that people send. And just, Brandon, can you talk for a couple minutes about some kind of the things that you see people asking questions on our social media that maybe can give people some insight?
Of course. So like you said, in the community app, it is an app where people do send you questions. It's where you text us directly and you're able to access any question you want to ask, text us whatever you would like, and we'll be able to respond to you. Now, a couple of the questions that usually always happen are, it's the same, probably about, I would say like 5 to 6 questions. One of them is being, when's the best time we can talk to somebody? And that's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. We just go ahead and schedule a call with amazing Erika, and Erika can talk to you about basically whatever you need to talk to you about. The second question is, when can I talk to Eric? And even as funny as that sounds, that's a question that we get a lot. And like Eric was saying a little bit earlier, that's why he made that option. He had calls where you can schedule it with him, but now he has the coaching calls. And the coaching calls you'll be able to schedule with either one of the coaches, or you can ask the coach any question you want to, or you can schedule a call with Eric and you can ask Eric any question you want to. So when you can talk to Eric is, well, you would go on the website, go to the coaching part of the website, and then you'll be able to schedule a call with one of the coaches or Eric, whichever one you like. The third question is the 2.0 course ending as if, and I would say basically like, is it going away forever? Like we have 3 days to learn the information. No, you don't have 3 or 4 days to learn the information. The 2.0 course, we're not accepting any new enrollments. So what we're doing is we're not going to have the 2.0 course accessible to the public in about 3 days, November 1st on Monday, like he was saying earlier. It's not going anywhere. If you get the 2.0 course, you're still going to have a 2.0 course. I can assure you, you're still going to have all the information. You'll still be on the calls on Tuesdays, everything like that. But you don't have 3 days to learn the information. You still have the whole time, like everybody else, the whole year to learn all the information that we have in the 2.0 course. So it's not, if you buy it today, I promise you it's not going to go away in 3 days. I know, even though it may sound silly, it is something I feel like we should clarify because people do have that question. Another question they have is when they do send a source aside, should they expect somebody to say that they received the message? And it goes back to Maria saying on the Tuesday call we just actually went over that. And like Maria said on the Tuesday call, some people are gonna be nice, say received, some people are not. And still piggybacking off Maria said on the Tuesday call, she likes to pin it and keep going. So I recommend that as well because that's truly the method. You shouldn't be worried about if somebody. They're not going to always say, I received it. I got it. Listen, they have a lot of things to do. The source side is truly for information. Anyway, they're just doing their market research. So they don't owe you I got it or received from, so you shouldn't expect that. You should just send it. You do what you had to do. Continue going. And this one is not a question, but this is something that people send a lot. And it's just a little misplaced because we have a place for that. So they'll send something basically saying that, hey, I'm searching for a woman-owned small business or an 8A who does construction who can help out on a contract we have. Now, that's perfect. You should definitely ask us those questions because we can help you. We can get you to those people. But a better place would be in the Facebook group. And the Facebook group is very important because that is where we're all connected and we ask those questions. And the Tuesday calls as well, where you're already surrounded around the small businesses in our circle, in our connection. So when you ask that question in the Facebook group, someone's going to respond to you if they're able to help you out. Or if you do it on a Tuesday call, same thing. Somebody's able to respond to you to help you out. So I definitely say the best place, if you are looking for a company to subcontract or to help you out on a contract, definitely send in the Facebook group and definitely talk about the Tuesday calls because that's what it's for. It's specifically for that type of connection. So those are the main things that I've definitely got from the community app that continues to repeat.
And so if you see all of the Instagram, all of the snippets, Brandon's the one behind that. He's handling the marketing team that's responsible for doing all of our snippets, all of this, the reels, the TikTok videos. He was the one that did the kidnapping of Maria's cousin that people didn't like. So that's Brandon. That's young Brandon behind all of that crazy stuff. So I just wanted him to come out and meet you. We've got Randie sitting down here waiting to go. Thank you, Brandon. I'll see you. All right, we're gonna bring Randie up to the stage. There. Randie, listen. Randie look ready. I'll take her back down. You ready, Randie?
Okay. Right. Am I on there?
You're on. Yeah.
Okay. Hi, guys.
Right. Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Great. You're a little blurry.
Maybe need to change
working on it.
He wants to make it anonymous.
By the way, so there's 34 people watching. Make sure if you're just joining us, we are having a conversation with some of our Govcon coaches, answering questions from people. By the way, don't feel bad about asking a question. This is your time. Use it wisely. Again, when we come on these live sessions, this is an opportunity for you to talk to people that you normally will not get to talk to. So I just want to let people know. I want to kind of introduce you to some of the faces, some of the names, because oftentimes everyone thinks like it's only me out here, right? Like it's only Eric and all this stuff. And trust me, that is impossible for me to do all these things by myself. Brandon's team is like 9 people deep, okay, that he's managing. So I just want to kind of bring everyone on a round robin and have them, introduce themselves, say a little bit about what they do. And that way you kind of know who are some of the people, their skills, their strengths moving forward. Randie, you ready?
Sure.
All right.
How's
Look at his hair. By the way, every day I always talk about Randie's hair when I talk to Randie. I gotta say, Randie, let me see your hair. I don't know, sometimes it's long, sometimes it's curled up, sometimes it's straight. So I love it. It looks great.
Flexibility,
I
baby.
need to get off the screen just to let y'all 2 ladies share the screen. I need to get off.
No, you do.
All right, go ahead, Randie. Tell us some of your experiences. Now, Randie actually, when we start the coaching program, Randie actually took the lead and became one of the initial persons that people meet with. So she's already worked with, I don't know, 10 or 12 companies so far?
Yeah. Quite a few.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. And so she's had some experience of already working with companies through the coaching, and I want her to talk about that as well. And again, 36 people watching, hit the like button, please. And I don't see industries and states from people. I only seen it for like 10 folks, and there's 37. Make sure every time you come on here, make it a habit to put in here your city or state and your industry. That way we know who's out here is watching. John Lomax, welcome. We want to be able to talk to you specifically, because when we see things that pop up, we go, oh, I know. Oh, I know. So, all right, Randie, take it away.
Okay, so I've been helping out, like Eric said, on all the coaching, and I have been doing consulting for myself. And so being able to use those experiences and wisdom there have been able to help out some of the clients that have been coming to Eric. Like he said, he can't do it all. So it's been a privilege to help some of the startup companies, or even the ones that are not starting up, but they're new to government contracting, right? So bringing in some of the knowledge and the experiences that I've had over the last few years, and just answering questions, walking them through multiple sessions, just depends on the package that they purchase. And so we walk them through, depends, like I said, is it monthly or is it the executive coaching? So being there, I take them through step by step of, getting them ready, federal ready to even be able to go stand before the agencies or sit before the agency or be a virtual call, whatever these days. And so we want to make sure that they feel confident. So that's been my responsibility, just helping them feel confident, knowing that they are equipped and they are following through on every step that they need to take, whether it's the marketing of their company to the federal, or doing their research on target markets. You guys know Eric talks a lot about target markets, and so we want to make sure that those companies are well equipped. So that's what I've been doing. Any specific questions? I'm happy to answer.
Tell us a little bit about your background. Where your experiences from? What have you been doing yourself in the government space?
Okay. So when, like I said, I started off and have been just consulting prior to finding Eric and consulting. I was a regional manager and a VP in sales. And so I had a team of over 100 people that I was responsible for doing sales. And so that took some of that background of all of the target market list and doing, having conversations, building relationships, all those things translate into the federal market. And so I've been able to take that and work with clients. I've had multiple clients that I have helped to prepare them for the federal market that was never, couple of them was never doing federal. One has been doing federal, but not it's all over the US compared to what they would like to do. So I've been helping with that. I've helped some small companies win contracts through the relationships that I've forged. And it's been great to develop, to grow, build teams, I've helped companies like a smaller company team with a $680 million company, right, to go after projects that we were shortlisted on. So I've been able to do some of those.
Wait, hold on. Because sometimes y'all talk fast. I know I talk fast.
Yeah.
She said a smaller company team with a $680 million company.
Yeah. I was able to bring a large, very large prime of, like I said, $680 million, per year in revenue with a $20 million minority construction company. I was able to bring them together, and we actually won. We won a $5 million design build project. We were shortlisted for another project with another agency. And so, just learning to build relationships. Those are key. That's key to federal. You guys know that. So,
my man, welcome, Reginald. I'm glad you're enjoying the content. I'm glad you took the free course and you enjoyed it. How many people out here took the free course and they found us? Thanks for that, Randie. No, that's great. I love it. So what are some of the types of businesses that the companies are in that you've been working with now in coaching?
In the coaching, I've got IT. We have power systems, roofing, robotics. Trying to go down my list here. Fiverr, connectivity. We've got quite a few, like I said, with quite a few IT.
Okay.
So
IT is a big industry. A lot of people like IT.
Right.
So that makes sense.
Yeah.
By the way, Randie is selling herself really, really short, because when it comes to business development and getting these people on the phone and getting your company organized to tell you what to do next, and how to make those calls and trying to get a hold of someone, she is the person you want on your team. She is the one that you want to help you achieve this. Because there was a big company, and they're huge, that couldn't get, I think it was an Ostabu or someone from SBA on the phone, and Randie was able to do it within a few hours.
Yeah, Randie, you got that SBA letter that I couldn't get done.
Well, we found the letter, so it's like you didn't get things done, all right? Well, one of the things that my personality is you don't quit. So we want to make sure we don't quit, right?
Randie said her personality, you don't quit. Randie is a beast, okay? Look, Randie around here is a beast.
You knock on doors, you go and you find those relationships that you need to find. Those are key, to your success. So you can't quit.
Hey, look, if I want to track somebody down, I'm putting Randie on them. That's just
and he does. So hey.
I did. That's right. That's right. By the way, so Randie, Maria, and then you're gonna meet Pierce later on. They're part of our team that won the COVID contracts for the $18 million. So you guys are meeting like our team of folks that actually we were the ones on there. We're just missing Pierce. Was there anybody else with us? Am I missing someone, Randie? No, just 4 of us?
It was us, yeah.
Okay.
18-hour long conference
long COVID days.
Yeah, those COVID days. So
when that IDIQ came through my email that we won, I was ecstatic. Like you forget how much work you put into it. You don't forget, but you work, and then when that contract or that email comes in, you're just like, oh, like it's just a feeling that a lot of us have felt. And even talking with my podcast guests, your podcast guests, they say that feeling is that challenge they're going after. Like Randie says, that she doesn't quit. Like these people go after the next one and after the next one, just because that rush and that excitement and that success that you feel is just so like, it's amazing. And that's what we want for everybody.
That's funny. Pierce said 20-hour days.
Oh, I'm sorry, Pierce. I cut us short by a few.
Hey, we were getting it in. So no. Listen, I love it. But it's true though. Randie does sell herself short. She is tremendous. She's been extremely valuable for us. So I love it. Free says I took a free course and I signed for 2.0. Excellent info inside. Thank you, Free. Appreciate that.
And the 2.0 course, guys, it's growing. It's not like it's stagnant. If you see a lot of videos of other people trying to teach you this, all they're teaching you is theory. And not only they're teaching you theory, if you still hear them say FBO and all this other Orca and things like that, they are way far behind. They don't know what they're talking about. They have not written anything or looked at anything in many, many years. They're able to tell you, regurgitate all the information. But as far as doing it, you have to be very, very careful with that. So our 2.0, it's always evolving. Because even in the short 3 to 4 years I've been here, a lot of things have changed. And Eric is the first one to figure it out and let all of us know. So there's always going to be new information getting put in, new information. So you're always going to be ahead of the game instead of trying to catch up afterwards.
So my man Alex says, I searched for YouTube 2 or 3 years ago now. Eric was on there. Yes, Alex. I started officially in 2017. And so it's been 3 years. And Randie, we have a video with Randie from 3 years ago, guys. I'm not going to pull it up today. Alex.
I requested that you pull it, but you would not.
We have a video, Alex, of Randie when she first called me 3 years ago. And she didn't know anything.
Yeah, he didn't tell me he was recording me either.
Yes, I did, because I was the one that sent out the emails. I remember Cassie Mountain. Oh, I remember.
I don't remember him saying he was going to be recording that conversation. I'm like, that thing needs to be thrown in the trash.
But the good thing is that you asked a lot of questions, and that's what it takes to learn. You asked and why, and ask, but this and that and how. And the how is more important than the why.
I think
it's all about learning, right? So
I think you did well, Randie. I think you did well. Goose Feather Brown says, I type government content books and Audible read app and love 2.0s on the way. Good. Listen, I'm actually happy that you bought that because let me tell you why. It's funny. I'll put you back on the screen. Actually, so today, Randie, when I was talking to Troy about the books, I learned that the Govcon Launch Book 2.0 in terms of the audio book is ranked like 300 and something in top books on business and finance. So it's doing well. I'm very happy for that. So that's good in Audible. But I still need more people to give us reviews because we still only have 50 reviews on Amazon. So if you bought the Govcon 2.0 book, please leave me a review on Amazon and let us know that you enjoyed it. Something else, piggybacking off of a story that we were talking about earlier, actually, about how small the world is. Going back to Maria. So Cecil called me today, and Randie, you know he's in Alabama, right? And so he was meeting with a company, and that company has IDIQ that's like $1 billion. And I don't know the name of the company, but they were meeting him, and they want to work with him because, you know, their status and all this kind of stuff. And so Cecil was talking about moving to Florida, and he says, I got a friend that lives in Florida. And he says, you might know the guy. He says, Erika. He goes, the YouTube podcast guy?
Oh, snap.
And he goes, yeah, that's him. He goes, oh, yeah, I know him. And this company, this guy had $1 billion IDIQ. And it's like crazy. So it is a small world out here. And it's getting smaller as we become more and more popular and more well-known. So definitely, I want to encourage everyone that, you know, if you come into our world and our circle, you're going to be in a group where we can. Oh, there it is. Nikki put it up. It was the Redstone Arsenal Conference. Mm-hmm. There you go, Nikki. See, I didn't know what it was, Nikki. I got the call. Mm-hmm. So yeah, but it was a funny story because he was like, he goes, you're famous. I was like,
he already knew that.
Yeah, but you know, it is kind of unique when you go out to an event and you talk to a stranger, and then all of a sudden, right? They're like, "Wait, I know this guy." So I told him, I said, "More if you go to a government content conference, people are gonna know me there." So, and so actually, the funny thing is, like my man said right here. So what he said was that you're right. He's been to a lot of events where attorneys, and all the attorneys do is talk about theory and the FAR. Nothing practical, nothing applicable, nothing that you can actually use that translates into winning business and winning contracts. By the way, there's 47 people watching. Give us a thumbs up, please, 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 please. Also, if you're just joining us now, We are interviewing some of our other coaches. People only see me oftentimes. So I want to bring and give everyone else a platform to be able to talk and share their experiences of working with us and supporting us. And so these are a lot of the people that you will meet, that you will encounter. We also just implemented a brand new program where you can buy 30-minute coaching sessions. And on those 30-minute coaching sessions, you can use your 30 minutes for whatever you want. SAM questions, registration questions, certification questions, things like that. We now have that on our website where you can actually order 30-minute increments. So it's something that people have been asking for. And so we decide to do it. So you can definitely request a 30-minute session from one of our Govcon coaches. And so I want to bring everyone out here tonight, and we're going to go through and have conversations. And if you have questions for them, or you just want to hear about them and meet them, this is the opportunity. So, all right, Randie, what else you want to tell the good folks out here?
Well, I mean, we're here to support them. So we're in the trenches just like they are. You know, we're not just doing the theory. We're out here creating our target market list. Like right now, I'm revamping target market lists for my clients. I mean, I'm out here doing the same thing they're doing. I know what it's like to keep making those phone calls. You know, I was talking to a construction flight chief today, and I'm like, hey, I'm just calling to check in, you know, like what's going on, right? It's been a couple months. And she's like, hey, you know, yeah, I'm taking vacation, you know, like we're just chit chat. Like, you know, she's like, it's dead around here, you know. I'm like, I know, that's what I'm calling to check on you. What are you doing? Right. You know, so, you know, we're out here in the trenches making those calls just like you guys. So we understand what it feels like. So
I mean, one of my friends, Paul, used to say, catching hell and calling it fun. And I never
probably so.
He said, catching hell and calling it fun. You know, and so, I mean, again, we understand. I promise you, we understand. We know the challenges that people are faced with. We understand the difficulties of it. We know that you're not going to get a response right away. We know that, like Brandon mentioned, that you turn in that source of sought notice, you don't get a call back, you submit that bid, you forgot to cross that T, dot that I, and you're like, oh, shoot, I got to take it back. We understand what that's like. So we just want to come out and show you, like, we're regular people. And also, I don't think that you've ever had a chance to actually be on a live session where you meet all of us together. And so we're going to, at 8 o'clock, we've got someone else coming on. At 8:30, we've got someone else coming on. So ask away questions. If you've got questions out there, let us know. This is not a one-way street. So also, if you have questions, let us know who you are. Someone said, all right, I'm going to take this as a question. The biggest thing I was contemplating was choosing my niche. Experience in construction, transportation, medical lab, tech, janitorial. I'm selling hazmat, remediation, disaster relief. Randie, you take it away.
A lot.
I had to give it to somebody.
Go ahead and
okay, original 13. This is awesome. You're ambitious. You're contemplating your niche. So it is time for you've got to narrow it down, right? I know you're trying to probably figure that out. There's no way you're going to be great at all of it. So I would say maybe look at what are your strengths? What have you been doing? Or maybe what resources you have, right? That you can pull in. You know, because those are large industry sectors and you're playing in different waters on each of those. And there's no way you can do it well. So definitely find your niche. And I know it's hard because that was one of those questions I was asking Eric initially when I had my time with Eric. So it is hard. It's hard to narrow it down, but look at your strengths, look at your resources, look at who you have supporting you, and maybe that would help you because those are very different, right? So
I think, Randie, weren't these all your categories?
Heck no.
You had construction, IT.
IT was one of the big ones.
Yeah, something else. Randie, what were your categories?
At the time, it was IT. Remember, we were trying to figure out which direction
was IT. But you also something else you did, like catering.
Cabling or something.
Yeah, we were trying to figure out the catering or that's all stories. Like
that, my cousin does this and that person does that, and
right.
We try to
get
the family together.
We were starting a family sibling business at the time.
Right, exactly. You were starting a sibling. This is all your family.
Make
How many
everybody
siblings
stop.
are in your contracts now?
Look, things change over the years.
Yeah, I mean,
Well-
yeah. I mean, like, hey, I love you guys. We want to stay family, so it's all good.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. So look, hey, matter of fact, that brings us to this question. Hold on. Free says, can you give us some tips on consulting people starting out? I think Randie just gave you a tip right there about family. Stay family.
Well, if I guess they want to consult, give us tips on consulting. Okay, so I'm assuming you're wanting to consult. So I would say, look, you like I've gone around like Eric. I told Eric before, like you gave me bad advice, but anyway, I've kind of dug myself out my hole. I fired all my clients and started over. But so I would say for consulting, look for companies actually that are larger than you probably think that you are ready for. Because initially, I'm like, okay, I need to, in my comfort zone, probably stay with the small companies. That's $1 million or, maybe 5 million or whatever. But then, they didn't have, as time went on, they didn't have the capabilities and the resources to really put to what's federal, right? Because they were so busy trying to do what they were normally doing. They didn't have the resources to put towards, someone really working on federal. And it was frustrating. As a consultant, you're out there doing a lot of work. And then there's still no fruit because they didn't have the resources to move on it. So I would say look for companies that are larger, that do have a back office that you can really work with to help. And Eric has a great part of his course now on the consulting. I think he might have thrown out some stuff that I told him I don't know about that. But you should watch it. Definitely watch his consulting section. And like I said, the biggest tip I can give you is go look for companies that can afford you, and also that have the back end resources to put what you're doing to work.
Maria, same question.
Don't get too excited when you get a client just because they are a client. Because I started out and I was very excited, and you miss all the red flags as a company. They are a small business, but like Randie says, being too small of just the owner being out there and having to do the things and having the one to dig the trenches and things like that, it's going to come to the point like they can't perform as big as you want to take it. They're going to be the ones that get the money intertwined, and the greed comes into play because they're going to see how much it is and how much they could do with the government, and they're going to want to take it back. Like Pierre said, like someone that could pay you, someone that's going to pay you at the end of the day as well. It's very important that you find a client that is established, that has the past performance, that is able to perform and are very professional at it. Professionalism on a federal facility is a must. Don't have people yelling and screaming, or people that come in all dirty with their pants sagging, things like that. Make sure you vet the company. Look at, one of the things I do is I look at their website, look how they write, look how they interact with one another in the office. Just because that's going to be what you're going to get yourself into. So just make sure that the excitement doesn't overtake. Don't let the emotions overtake a lot of the brains that you have. And work. It takes a lot of work, and make sure that they are willing to help you do the work as well.
All right. Good answer. We're going to take one more, Randie. We're going to let you go. I see Erika's and Q back here. Mark Higgins, I'm doing a consultant route. My client presented me with options as a 1099er, not a consultant. I want to grow my business. Is there any benefit for him to have me as a 1099er?
I have turned down every one of those options that has come to me. I've had 2 companies offer that to me. And I think it's really your goal. What do you want, right? And for me, I want to grow my own personal business.
Right.
So taking that 1099 may seem safe and great, but again, it's what you want. And if you don't want to be an employee. You don't want to have that hanging over you. You don't want to have, just whatever. You need to think through that. But for me personally, I've had that experience where, people have offered me positions to just come on board and just, be part of their team. But I didn't want to do that. So again, I would say it's really, what is your goal for your personal, your life? You grow your business, or, so give up something else in exchange, because really that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to give up some freedoms there. So.
All right, let me bring Erika up. Randie, we'll do a greet real quick, and then we'll let you go. All right, hold on once. Let me bring Erika up. And I've been having computer challenges.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
So,
Oh, cool.
Hey, Erika.
On the
Hey.
screen.
You can't see me on the
I
screen
don't
yet?
see her. You guys see her?
Yes,
I
I
see
see
her.
all four
Yeah.
of us.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Erika, welcome.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm
Okay. For
Erika.
some reason, I can't hear her, but I'm hoping everyone else does hear her, which is good enough for me. Oh, good. Okay, there you are. All right, now I see you, hear you. Hey,
Hey.
how are you tonight?
Good, good. How's it going?
Let me ask you something. Has any of you been live before?
Never.
Randie? Once. Okay, Maria, no. Okay.
Once,
All right.
yes. You
All
got
right.
me flossing my teeth.
All right, there you go. All right. So, all right, welcome, Erika. Erika is the resource specialist. So if you call our number or you email us, here, I'm gonna put the number on the screen, then you will receive Erika. And so here is the number on the screen. If you call that number, that's our phone number to call us. Or if you send us an email, service@govcongiants.com, you will receive Erika. Erika, welcome. Thank you for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Now
Yeah.
everyone can see a face to the phone calls, to the emails.
Yeah, no, exactly. I agree. So just tell them a little bit about yourself, your background, which your experiences, and how you came about getting into this business in this space.
Yeah. So I started a few years ago. I worked as in the procurement department on the high-speed rail. So I kind of worked on the back end of seeing how things are done. And so I took that and started working with small businesses at the Small Business Development Center. So I was helping them get into government contracting and certifications. And so during that time, I was like, okay, there's so much to learn about government contracting. So I started YouTubing, and of course, all Eric's videos come up. And so I learned a lot from him. And then I reached out to him and I let him know, if he had any opportunities for me. I was looking to take those on just so I can continue to grow and learn more. So, yeah, he saw the potential in me and let me become part of the team. And it's been really great. Just seeing small businesses. My passion is seeing small businesses, working with them, and then getting them to where their goals are at. So with government contracting, it can be very complex, but I like Eric can make it very simple, like with the courses, breaking it down. I even purchased the course last year when I was trying to learn more about it, and I started on it. And so just seeing it broken down very simple for someone getting into it, it was very helpful. So that's kind of my background.
Now, Erika, people call all the time.
Yes.
You talk to everyone calling. Tell us about some of the calls that you receive from people. Maybe you can help answer some questions, some commonly asked questions that people call about oftentimes.
Mhm.
Maybe, and I'm sure you've, over the last, whatever, I don't even, how long have you been working? 3 months, 6 months? It's been a
No.
while.
Yeah, maybe like 7,
7
8.
months. Okay, 7, 8 months. Okay. All right. So tell us about some of the
Mhm.
calls that you receive.
Yeah, so a lot of people call after they watch your YouTube videos. They're so excited and they're like, "Let me call." And I know that they're a little disappointed sometimes when it's me that they receive the phone call with, and they're expected to be Eric. But I'm like, I have Eric in my name, Erika. You can talk to me.
There you go. That's a good. I like that one. I have Erika by name.
Mhm. So a lot of calls I would say is people that see your stuff on YouTube they don't check out the website yet. They don't know what we offer. They know there's some courses. And so they call and then they just want more information. And they ask me to, what are these courses entail? And so I go over it with them, but then I always direct them to the website because the website does have more information on there and it gives you a breakdown. So I would just say for people that watch YouTube, always check out our website, govcongiants.com. It has all that information there. I'm also here to help clarify any information or answer any additional questions you have. Also, people call because they want to speak to someone regarding something comes up urgent and say a contract's up, they have questions and they need to get it answered right away. And so I have people that call very urgent. And so they're not in our courses. They're not really interested in signing up, but they need these questions answered. So, we just came out recently, which is I seen the need for it of people calling is doing like 30-minute sessions. So now we have that option for people that have questions that they need to get answered right away. I recommend you guys. We now have that 30-minute session. You can sign up and speak to a coach if you're not interested in signing up for our coaching, because we do have coaching, which is long-term, and that more really walks you through your business, assessing it and helping you through the government contracting.
By the way, 54 people watching, make sure you give us a thumbs up so that can help us out here. Push the content out there as well. If you're new and you're just joining us, just coming in from the West Coast or Midwest, and you're just joining us now, let us know who's out here. Tell us your city or state and the industry that you're in. We're also taking questions. Maria's in the back room. I think she's changing outfits, but she'll be back on. We'll bring her back on in a minute. But we've got Erika here, our resource specialist. She's the one that when you call the number or when you send an email, she's the first person that you get. If you sign up for any of the coaching programs, she's going to assign you a coach as well. So feel free to ask her questions. Like I said, we just left Randie's on here, and we want to kind of give everyone and let them know that it's not just me. Okay, it's not just me. There's other people involved. We have a real organization here. And again, like I said, so we have teams of people supporting this. As you see out there, we put a lot of content out there and it's tough. And again, we're constantly working on websites. In fact, Brandon came on first so he could meet with the team to get our websites fixed, corrected, updated. We're constantly adding information as well inside the courses, inside the videos. So Maria just said, we are a village. We meet weekly ourselves internally to discuss our plan of action to how we can best serve all of you out there. So again, I wanted you to meet these people, put a name, a face, put it together on screen, and you can, that way you say, okay, I know who Erika is. I know who this person is. Actually, Erika, funny story. Someone asked me, were you fake once before?
That's so funny.
They did. They said, was that just a name you use like as an email? So Erika's not fake. There's the Erika right here. Yes. So, okay. What else?
No, I think it's good that we're coming on here and showing our faces, because I think, like I said, sometimes when people call, they expect to talk to you, but people have to understand that you're making all this content, everything to go out, you're reviewing everything. If you were to answer all the calls and the emails, you would not have time to create your content. So that's why I'm here to, let you create that content and answer people's questions and direct them on, how we can assist them. So no. You
read that comment, Erika?
Yes.
You know who that is, right?
Yes.
There you go. See? And you know what? Believe it or not, and so again, we know Ty Hunt. Believe it or not, one of the things that I say is that if you're bugging us, that means you're doing something, right? So I know when people are active and they're doing things, those are the people that bug us. So again, she don't even have to put her name up there. We already know who this is. And so again, but at the same time, she's working the system. She's putting in the effort. She's not just asking us questions that she could find easily in the course. She's asking us now, and this is what I always tell people. I like when people again, when you're first starting out, that's fine. More power to you. You could call. But again, Erika's time is limited. All of us have limited time and resources. And so that's why we put these things out here. That's why we put out the free videos. That's why we put out the books. That's why we put out the audio version of the book. That's why we have a resources page on our website. That's why we have a free course. We have all of this stuff for you to try and make this easy and make the information available. But I think sometimes people could be a little bit lazy.
Mm-hmm.
So Erika might not say that because she's very polite and nice. I'll say it. See, she don't see. She said she don't say it. Any questions for Erika on here while she's on here? I'm gonna bring Maria back up to the stage. Anybody for Everett? Thanks for joining our YouTube. All right. Any questions for Erika? You guys get Erika. Now, look, see Erika. Now, when they start calling your phone, be like, look, I was on here.
Right?
We're on here live with Erika. You get a chance. There's 52 people watching. You get a chance to ask. All right, let's see. Gilbert says, what's the best place to find Hold on. Let me do this. Let me bring Maria back up. Maria, you ready? Yep. All right. Let me bring Maria back up to the stage.
Before you start, you said Everett just joined.
I can't hear you yet, Maria, because you're not on. All right, Erika, take that one away.
The question, what's the best place to find subcontracting opportunities? So
what's the best place to find subcontract opportunities?
Maria, take it away.
Hear? I can't hear you guys. I see your lips moving.
So for subcontracting opportunities,
if your lips are moving, I know you're talking.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yes.
Okay, good. Just making sure. All right. So for subcontracting opportunities, there's actually a part in the course that goes over it. Yes, there is SBA subnet, but subnet is very antiquated. It's also, it was very hard to navigate back in the day. But the best way is Eric teaches us a strategy of going in and finding who the primes are and calling them directly. And this is a video I remember that was on YouTube. And even 3-4 years ago, I still remember because he called him and the guy's name is Robert Kelly. The fact that I know the guy's name and he just called him because he's like, hey, I saw you just won this opportunity and I have a company if you need any subcontractors. And the guy actually said, yeah, send me your information. But Eric was just doing it as a cold call. So that's one strategy of doing it. And there's also when you go to site visits, the primes are there at site visits. That is a great way that you're going to meet them firsthand and introduce what you guys could do. So there's various ways of getting those subcontracting opportunities.
Also, like what Maria said earlier today in the call, Maria actually went to an event where she was able to meet someone at the event that talked about needing help and opportunities. Erika mentioned earlier that she reached out to me and asked if we needed help. So again, reaching out to people, talking to people, you've got to be like, again, there's 56 people watching this right now. How many of you actually put in there your business, your city, your state, and so that we could help you so that you can connect with other people? There are conferences that we go to sometimes where there's not 56 people in a conference.
My event did not have 56 people in it. My event, we were at 29 or something like that.
Yeah. So now let me talk about, hold on, sorry, wrong one. So the SBA subnet, Alex, that you're talking about, on SBA subnet, we did a video on SBA subnet where we actually interviewed the person who's in charge of SBA subnet. And while SBA subnet does have on their subcontract opportunities, a lot of times those opportunities are from large businesses who did not meet their small business goals, who actually got caught and failed to meet their small business goals. And so they got in trouble by the government. And so now they're being forced to put this stuff on SBA subnet. But listen, we're going to let Erika go. Erika, thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you for having me. And if anyone on here has not purchased the 2.0 course, go purchase it, please, before the 31st, because I do not want you to call on the 1st and try to purchase it.
Right. Don't call Erika on the 1st. Like somebody did that last month. Oh,
yes.
I need 12 more hours. Because look, the 1.0, when we gave it with the last month, when we let that go, every time, right, Erika, this happens.
Yeah, yeah. And just with the 1.0 too, the next day someone called, can you please extend it? And yeah, so you guys have a couple more days. Go purchase it if you haven't.
Okay. Thanks, Erika.
All right, guys. Thank
All
you.
right. See ya. Okay. All right. So
before anything, you guys just saw that Everett, Eric said, thanks for joining the YouTube community. Other than the courses, we also have the YouTube community, which has its benefits. One of them being is like all the videos are not on YouTube anymore. Some of them are for members only. And if you join the community, you're able to see some of those videos that we've done in the past, and they are hidden just for members only. So there's 3 different tiers in YouTube as well for you guys to be able to join and support us. If you're not able to do 2.0 at this time, this is another way and another resource that you guys have in order to be able to be a part of this community.
All right. So going back to Alex's question, and I saw some other questions. We're going to go back and take questions. I can see Pierce is sitting now in the studio waiting nice and patiently. All right. So let me finish up, Alex, and we're going to take some more questions. Drop them in the chat. We'll get to your questions that you can ask. Don't be shy. So Alex, so yeah, on the SBA subnet, and we've got a video on this. Maria, what's her name?
Angela Terry.
There you go. See, Maria knows all this stuff. So Angela Terry, who runs SBA subnet, on that video, she shares that they are now starting to audit the large businesses and making sure that they comply with their small business subcontracting plans. And so when the companies, when they audit them and they find out that they did not comply, part of their penalty is to place their subcontracting opportunities on SBA subnet. So I think that, yes, while SBA subnet is a place to go for subcontracting opportunities, I would be very cautious with a company who intentionally try to subvert the system and not hire a small business in the first place. I would be very leery of someone who the only reason they're doing something is because they were faced with a penalty as a result of intentionally trying to go around the system. Eric Coffey's 2 cents. This is not the opinion of the SBA.
It's like that's your consequence for not following the directions the first time around.
That's right. Hold on. Let me answer this question. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give it to Maria. She's a boss now. Maria's baby goat.
Hey, Eric, I have a current contract asking for a bid bond 10% of the contract bid price. Can you explain this, please? So bid bonds are usually for construction projects. Sometimes you are required to have them before to show proof. And you could easily call your bonding company and they'll give you a nice little letter saying that you have been approved in order to get these. So it's just sometimes for constructions, they are required.
Yeah, there you go. By the way, DJ Crime, I like what you put on here. You can always say, call for Eric, get Erika. The A is for free. That's right. That's right, DJ Crime. You know, so. All right. Let me see what other questions we had in here before we bring Pierce up. Hold on.
And guys, Erika's the resource specialist. If you're not part of the community, she's going to answer your questions, your basic questions. But like she said, don't call her asking her to review an RFP or proposal or things like that. That we have those times on Tuesdays that our community members are able to bring those specific things they're working on. And we actually go over them. And if you need that attention right away, go ahead and do the coaching, which are the 30 minutes that you're able to get one of us.
Right. All right. Dontavius Young, what do you do when a accounting officer not responding to your email, but the bid is still open?
First of all, if the bid is open on SAM, they're not allowed to answer some questions. So yes, they're not going to call you back and they're not going to answer them. And if you call them asking them the questions, they're going to certainly know that you're new and you have no idea what you're talking about. Yeah. So it shows the little that you know.
So that's their, again, part of the reason why they don't want to call you back, Dontavius, is because they can't give you any more additional information than they can give to the next person or next party. And so they, remember, contracting officers, I don't think people realize this. They are liable. They can go to jail they have warrants called warrants that they had to go through, take a test and pass, and they sign off agreeing that they won't do anything illegal because they can obligate the government to pay money to contractors. So because of that, because of all the power they're given, it also comes with liability, which means that if they do something unscrupulous, corrupt, then they also are liable for going to jail. So they don't want to get in trouble risking giving you some kind of information that's not publicly available to everyone. And so that's why you're probably running into problems with people trying to call you back. And if you're asking questions related to the bid specifically, because that's what it sounds like to me, that's your issue that you're having. So again, a lot of times, if you want someone to call you back, and let's say you're talking about a local bid, then you should get to know them first, right? Because once you get to know them, then they'll call you back because they'll be like, oh, that's Dontavius. Like, they're going to call you back. But a lot of times when the problem that you're having is you don't have a relationship with this person, they don't know you. And so they're treating you the way that they're supposed to treat you is, what they say, feed you out a long handled spoon. Anybody know that one that your parents taught you that? I know Maria don't know some of that stuff. Nikki probably knows what that means. You got to feed them out a long handled spoon. I know Nikki knows what that means. Anybody? I'm going, hey, look, I know my people understand that. So, all right. All right. Bo says, do you suggest using services like Fiverr?
Ooh.
For RFPs, drafting? Hold on. Go ahead, Maria.
Most people don't understand government contracting or all the wording. Now, think about the people on Fiverr. Most of them are in other countries. So the fact that English is not their first language, it takes a special person to understand this. Drafting an RFP or a proposal or something like that, I wouldn't use them.
Again, an RFP is a technical document that the government has written, and what you're asking that person to draft is information related to your company, your team members, your partners, that they know nothing about any of you. And you're
Uh-oh.
What happened?
His computer's been messing up.
Oh.
So, and he said, like, especially when he runs this program, it just goes in and out.
I mean, but I picked up on what he was saying. So the issue, Bo, that you're going to run into is if you're using somebody off of Fiverr, they're just looking to get the job completed because they're looking to get the money. So they're not going to be as invested as you would be in the long-term result, because for you, yeah, it's low-hanging fruit to be able to pay them and have them do the work, but they're not going to do the due diligence and the research and all the background stuff that needs to be done to make sure that you have a successful RFP. And you have a few people out there that they've done them. They'll be like, hey, I've done RFPs before. You can go on Upwork and you'll see a few people and they're like, hey, I've done them before. But just because they've done them does not mean that they've done them at the federal level. They might have done them at the state level. They might have done them at the local level. They might be doing them for marketing agencies that are trying to work with other companies. So it doesn't mean that they have the experience or the knowledge that's actually necessary to be able to put the money forward or put the effort forward to be able to give you a successful RFP. Because that's what you want at the end of the day. You want success. So, you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot by having a great product or great service that you can offer, and you shortchange yourself because you chose to save a few bucks by going to somebody and paying them to do the RFP cheaply. Just my 2 cents. I'm not Eric, but that's
and also RFPs, it takes, some parts are very technical on what it is. Like, I would never be able to do an RFP about IT because I have no idea the technical side of that. So that's why everyone has their parts when they're getting written up.
Yeah, so I wouldn't recommend it.
So as we wait for Eric, Pierce, can you tell us a little bit more about who you are and what you do here in our team?
Oh, man. I try to play the background as much as possible. That's
why we're doing this, because all of you guys are in the background. I think the only faces they've seen is Eric, mine. They saw Randie once, and that's it. So it's nice that people see that every single person in our team has their own expertise and their own specialty. And that way, if you need something, you get the right person to do that job.
Correct. So my background, I actually ended up finding out about Eric back in 2017. My discovery of Eric Coffee was by necessity. So I actually had been toying around with government contracts when I was active duty. I actually use this as an anecdotal story. I was talking to one of our coaching clients actually, and I was telling them about the importance of being ready. So Eric, you never heard the story, neither have you, Marie. So back in like 2015, I just got back from Afghanistan, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to get out. Like I knew I was going to get out the military, so I'd already started prepping my head, like, all right, I'm going to do this transition. And I knew I could get the meeting, but I did not have anything in place to be able to sell it. But I was like, yo, if I get the meeting, I can kind of, finesse it to where I could be okay, right? So one day I went and I picked up, I think it was a Veterans Magazine, grabbed it off base, and it was a SDVOSB edition. So it was like the top 100 companies that do business with SDVOSBs, right? So I go home and I still have the email. So I type up this email and I sent it out to every company because every company had said who they were and they had a contact person. So I remember I emailed them all and I was talking about the technology. I had nothing. I didn't even know what I was doing. I was like, I'm going to do 3D printing. So I emailed all these companies back in 2015 talking about 3D printing. And Microsoft responded. So the guy from Microsoft, he responds and he's like, oh man, yeah, we're really interested in 3D printing. Thank you for your support, Alex. So he responds back, he goes, yeah, we're really interested in 3D printing. Shoot me over your white paper. And I remember I saw it, right? And I was like, yeah, I didn't know what to do at that point. So I go, yeah, well, I would love to talk to you about it. Just kind of let you know what I'm thinking about doing. They're like, oh, no. We know the value of 3D printing. Shoot us over the white paper so we can start the discussions. And I remember I went to, I think I was going through Boost to Business at the time. So I go back to the transition office and I'm like, hey guys, so I got this from Microsoft. What do I do? And they had no idea. They're like, I don't know. I don't know how to put together a white paper. So that was like my first kind of like time learning, like, all right, you need to be ready if you're gonna venture into this space. So then time elapses, 2017 hit, and it's time for me to start my transition. So as I'm actually starting my transition, because I chose to stay in after that Microsoft incident. Microsoft incident, I was like, not ready yet. So I stayed in a little bit longer. 2017 hits, it's time for me to get ready to get out. And as you can see, I got the check that says like $2,500. That was like the first thing that I ever won when it came to consulting. So I went in and I won this local contest. And it was to basically figure out a new way for the government to be able to communicate with the citizens throughout the city. So I'm sitting here, I'm happy. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to kill it. I win the competition and they're like, okay, we just need to get the funding to be able to roll out this project. I think we needed like $250,000. I did not know at the local level, anything over $20,000 has to be voted on and approved. Did not know this. So I'm like, all right, cool. This is going to go through. I'm thinking like, hey, we got in the bag. And then I find out, like as we're getting everything going, it wasn't approved in the budget. I'm like, well, who approves the budget? And I find out, okay, the budget has to be approved by the state level. And then I was like, all right, so, okay, well, who gives the state their budget? And that's what I figured out is approved at the federal level. So I remember I'm sitting there and I'm like, all right, well, I need to figure out, well, how can I get this? And I don't know why, but I don't know when, because this was back in like 2017. Typed it in, saw Eric. Actually, no, saw Matthew Lasco. Then I saw Eric.
I did Matthew.
So I was like, all right, let me go see what this guy's talking about. And I remember I bought the course, ended up going through the course. And this is back when, man, I think back when Eric first did it, he used to offer an hour like long consultation.
Oh yeah.
And I remember I never took the consultation. So I was like, I got all the information I need. I don't need to talk to him. I'm not going to waste his time. I don't want to waste my time. I'm just going to go and do this work. So I remember I would get emails randomly, like off and on from like Eric talking about, hey, we need to do your consultation. And I'm thinking it's an autoresponder. So I'm like, whatever. So I'm ignoring it continually. And then one day I was like, all right, Like, let me answer it. So I remember I answered it. And at the time, this kind of goes back to, for those that were on earlier, what Randie was saying with the 1099 thing. So at the time, I started working with a company out here, and they were trying to do contract with the federal market. And they were working on some technology, and I taken a position as a 1099. And I was supposed to be coming on full time to work with them. Stock options, nice 120K a year salary. And I remember I ended up taking a call with Eric. And when I was talking to Eric, he kind of broke it down for me. And he was like, yeah, you can take that cushy job, or you can work on multiple contracts. And by the time you do 2 or 3 contracts, you've made more than you would actually make off that 120K a year. And he was like, it doesn't matter if you get them a $20 million contract, a $10 million contract, or a $50 million contract, because all the contracts they were looking at were like 10 million and up, just for everybody that's watching. So they're like, we want these contracts. And Eric's like, yeah. So if you get 5% of that, you're halfway there. And he was like, if you do a few of those, you've made more than you ever made. So with that, Eric kind of talked to me, and I was like, okay. And, just talking, basically was like, come over and I'll kind of teach you the ropes. So these Tuesdays and Thursdays calls that we were on, I think I was like one of the first ones. 5 people. That used to be the Tuesday call. Like when it first started off, it would just be 5 people. I think it was like myself, Justin Adams.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And like I think, like myself, Justin Adams, and like 2 other people. It was like 5 of us at first, and then 1 person dropped off. So Eric started like way back then. But anyway, just kind of get you guys up to speed on what I've done. Since then, I worked with him when they did the big COVID push. I was a part of that. Long days. That's when I kind of learned that you got to be really dedicated to your craft. This isn't one of those things that you kind of check in and check out of. It's going to give you what you put into it. So if you halfway do it, you're going to get halfway results. If you actually commit, you'll be able to knock it out the park. Because Eric always tells y'all, hey, we did 17 million in contract, we did 17 million in contract, we did 17 million in contracts. Eric doesn't tell you we got 17 million contracts in a week. That was in a week's time. That wasn't like over months. That was in a week's time. Eric always leaves out that key point, which is very important. So when everybody's talking about, hey,
forget that.
like 20-hour days, it's because we were really working on this and we were stacking them up back to back to back. Came up with a process. Well, actually, and I have to commend Eric for this. Eric trusted me. Like, hey, I think I can do this process. You just let me run it. I think I can make this work. And I remember Eric was like, all right, man, if you think you can do it, you can do it. And him trusting in me allowed us to be able to do that. So I think that's another key point, trust your team. And then from there, I started working with the coaching team. We've been working with a few clients. Mainly the clients that I've been working with are IT, new innovative companies, manufacturing, and healthcare. I would say some of the biggest successes that we've had was, I want to say August of 2020. I think we did a video. I think it was like my second video that we did with Eric. And we were talking about the manufacturing opportunity that the United States government was doing when COVID was surging. And I remember it was a guy, Ross King. Yes, Ross King. I don't know if he's watching or if he's ever going to see this, but shout out to Ross King. I actually went to
that's right.
So Ross King ended up reaching out. Then that just shows you how small the world is. So he ended up reaching out, ended up talking to him. And I remember he was like, hey, man, I just got 2 mass manufacturing machines. Just barely bought the machines. Was not anywhere near being set up. And he was like, I want to go through the process. So I remember he went through our coaching. And this is when coaching was like extremely cheap. Like he got it for a steal. Especially with the end result. So he hits us up, and I think he paid. He was like, hey, I'm willing to pay you guys for the next 3 days just to work specifically with me. So we ended up working with him. And at the end of that week, he spent $40,000 to get the machines. And at the end of that week, we had him set up to talk to the federal government about a manufacturing opportunity that would give him over $100 million in contracts for the next few years to manufacture masks. So it's little things like that where, you get those wins and you're like, man, this is amazing that you can actually go and do that. And then on the flip side, I also kind of help on the back end. Shout out to Nikki with clients when they can't find certain things. So like, let's say you're looking, you're like, hey, I can't find this contract, or it's something very specific that you're looking for. That's kind of where I come into play. And I can also kind of help you grow and expand your business and pivot. So we currently have a client, and I met with them last week, and they were reaching out, they were emailing us, and they're like, hey guys, I got these 2 contracts sent to me. Okay. First off, if somebody sends you a contract, and you're not registered in any systems, red flag. But they were new, they were excited, so they're like, hey, I got these contracts sent to me. I want to go through and I want to pursue them. And I was like, all right, we'll talk about it next time we meet. So we meet. You can clearly tell from looking at the contracts, like, these are bogus. Like, they're completely bogus. So I'm talking to the guy and I go, yeah, man, this guy wants us to send him, I think he wanted them to send him like some hard drive and stuff like that. And he was like, yeah, he wants us to send some hard drives. The contract is $120,000 or something like that. And they were like, yeah, we've done all the due diligence, but he wants us to send it to him this week. And I was like, this week. So I was like, yo, let me look at the order. So I look at it. The logo was clearly copy pasted. So it was like a horrible copy paste. The structure had different fonts in it. Like you could tell they were trying to scam them. But it was still a learning experience. So even in those situations, I had to kind of show them the light at the end of the tunnel, or that needle in the haystack. So in their mind, they thought, okay, well, we just got scammed. It was a waste of time. But I was able to tell them, I was like, hey, at the time, they were offering IT staffing. So they're like, hey, we're doing IT staffing services. That's what we do. That's who we are. That's all we do. But when they found out it was money on the table, within 1 week's time, they went and found suppliers and everything to be able to fill these IT contracts. And they were ready to go. So I was like, hey, man, have you ever thought about pivoting? Like, currently, you're looking at it like I'm supposed to be supplying people when you could actually be supplying this product and making more money, because you're kind of struggling over here with staffing. But if you pivot, you already see that these contracts exist, because they wouldn't be reaching out to you with a fake contract if a real contract wasn't there. So I was like,
hold on, wait. I don't think y'all heard what Pierce just said. They would not be reaching out to you with a fake contract if a real contract did not exist. See how his brain works? Go ahead. Sorry.
So after we went over that piece, I was like, hey, I think this is kind of what you guys should start doing. So I kind of put him, on the right path, helped him kind of readjust the sales, and now they're killing it. But that just kind of shows you how those small moments of coaching can actually help you out. Because if there was no coaching, go ahead.
What about Ash?
Ash.
Elevators?
Man, don't refer to her as Ash. But yeah, man. But that is I forgot all about that, man. So wow, I did you a huge disservice, Ash. I'm sorry. I apologize. And she was on Maria's podcast and everything. So one of Maria's biggest podcast guests, I actually ended up working with her a while back. And I remember she called, she was like, hey, I got this elevator thing. And I remember at the time I was like, Eric, why did you send me this? I was just like,
why did you send me this elevator thing?
Am I doing the elevator
why
thing?
did you send me? You see, somebody came to us with an elevator technology, and I'm like, go see Pierce. I'm like, yeah, you need Pierce. Anybody has a technology or invention, I'm like, Pierce, he's that window. Pierce is your guy.
We ended up sitting down. Eric gave me no background, so we ended up sitting down. I actually ended up talking to her. And that's kind of one of the things I like doing, pursuing innovation and stuff like that. Small business innovation and research, small business technology transfers, SBIRs, SCGRs, other transaction agreements, OTAs, stuff like that. So since I had a knowledge of those things, see, Demetrius.
Look, you even got Demetrius. Like,
I know, like, man, you know better, man. You
know, but he didn't think about it like in terms of it's a real contract tied to a scam or email.
Yeah, so actually, all right, now I got to go back to it since we're still talking about it, and then we'll get back to Ash. So with that situation, I actually was able to go with them and actually find the state contacts, and I was like, hey, reach out to them. So I actually ended up putting them in contact, because they were one was state and one was a federal one. I was like, the federal one, that's not going to work. But I was like, the state one, that's low hanging fruit, man. Like, just go through it and you'll be able to get it. And of course, they were concerned with their financing. They're like, well, we can't really afford this much. So I was like, all right, well. And I had to give them the backstory. I was like, hey, you're working with state and local. Don't be expecting to get paid in like 15 or 30. It's going to take some time. So gave them our horror story. So I was like, yeah. So sometimes it takes that 45. Sometimes it takes that 60. Just be aware. So what we did was the vendor that they were working with, I told them to go back, talk to their vendor. The state contract was still there. Easy $70,000 to win. As I received a phone call yesterday offering me. Scammers are gonna scam. Scammers are gonna scam. But what we ended up doing was I told them to go back, reach out to your vendor, tell them that you want to do a net 60. I was like, hey, do it at net 60 because once that day hits for the end of that term that you agreed with, they're gonna want their money. And I was like, if you owe somebody over $100,000, they're gonna immediately try to send that to collections, and you don't want to run your business credit like that. So what I had them do was I was like, hey, put net 30 on your agreement, reach out to them as the contract, it exists. So they reached out to them, did the net 30. Now they're sitting at net 60. So they're just trying to finalize everything, get everything together. That way they can win that contract. So once they win the contract, the vendor's giving them a net 60 days. So they don't have to pay anything out their pocket. The government receives the product. We know it's not going to be paid net 30. Let's just be honest. But hopefully by net 45, they'll have their payment, or, and I told them after net 45, you got to start hounding them, and they'll be able to get their contract fulfilled without having to pay any money out of their pocket. So it's those little things that I try to help people with. But back to Ash. So with Ash, the thing was Eric sent me her, and I was like, and I can't remember when Eric made this video, but he made a video a while back talking about if you end up in a situation and it doesn't pan out the way that you thought it was going to go and you end up getting screwed over, you actually didn't lose in that situation. You gained experience. So right. I had already had some experience from when I got screwed over.
We call it earn or learn.
Yeah. That's
earn or learn.
You should go back and make that into like a little segment for everybody. But
I'll go back into that. Yeah.
So what I ended up doing was I talked to her and I was like, hey, there's these few different places that I know about that you can reach out to. And I told her, I was like, hey, you're at a smaller level, so you might want to, try state first and work your way up. Of course, we don't really teach state, but in certain situations, if you do not have a leg to stand on and you need some type of past performance, hey, you got to do what you got to do. Sure. So we were able to kind of like route her that way. So I think I ended up pointing her to like Las Vegas, because Las Vegas has a innovation program where they're like all for it. So she goes for it. I was like, I don't know what happened with her. We didn't hear from her. She pops up later. She's like, hey, 7 figures. There, I'm doing it. I'm killing it. And I was just like, okay. And I was like, off elevators. She just is rocking it out. And it just kind of goes to show you that even if you have like a weird idea or something that's, quirky, if you know how to market it right, and the right people, there's always a buyer. You just have to be able to get in contact with that buyer and be able to show them the value of what you have. So with her, it was like right place, right time. It was a touchless sensor, I think. And she actually went from that touchless sensor to having somebody manufacture the whole actual elevator itself. So she scaled up rapidly because this is from 2020 to 2021. And if you want to find out more information about it, go watch Maria's plugging. Go watch
Maria, yeah. Maria did an interview with her. So we do have that interview that Maria did. I think a lot of times people don't realize is she's now doing $1 million a quarter. Okay. And when she came to us, she had no experience. And so now she's doing $1 million per quarter in sales. One more story, Pierce. I can't let you go. Jared.
Man, you can bring up these names. You know how many people we work with over
Okay, all right. Jared and his mom.
Oh, man. Okay, all right. So for everybody, I do not have like a memory problem. Okay, let me just put this out here because I know everybody's like, how does he not remember this? So in my free time, I actually out here I volunteer at a nonprofit helping women and minority business actually get up and running. So like I deal with a lot of people on the regular basis. That's why I'm normally not on like a Tuesday or a Thursday call. So just for the record, I am not super forgetful. It's just I deal with a lot of people on the regular. But yeah. So I think the thing with Jared. So I actually mentioned Jared and the 16-year-old to somebody this past Friday at a business event. So they were. We'll discuss Jared though. So Jared was somebody that came to us. He signed up for our coaching, and of course, like I said,
his mom signed him up for our coaching.
In the very beginning.
His mom signed him up.
Okay. I mean, it was a family thing, but we mainly dealt with him. His mom was kind of like there to watch and make sure he did what he was supposed to do.
I only spoke to the mom.
It's okay. All right, go ahead.
They signed up for the coaching, and I remember Eric was like, "Hey, we got to get on a call with them," and he was like, "Is there anything that we can find them?" And of course, I like going and scouring and finding all those like unique contracts. So we found one, and we were like, "Hey, this is," and it was a source of salt. And for anybody that's watching, if you haven't purchased the course, if you're not looking at a source of thought, you're kind of doing yourself a huge disservice. Because if you haven't purchased the course, you really don't know what you need to know to ask and what you need to do. So if it's outside of that source of thought phase, you're not really going to be able to get any feedback to be able to do any changes or anything like that. So you're shooting yourself in the foot if you're going after anything else, if you haven't really gone through the course and really learned what you need to learn.
He's right. And you know what? Yes, because his mother believed in him and what he was trying to do, and she trusted that. And he said that he wanted to sign up with us, Govcon Giants. And so she stood behind him. And Maria, did you talk to the mom first?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And what was that? What did she say? I like this story personally.
I like I said, I only spoke to the mom because she called me just to make sure that what the program was about. That she told me, she's like, it's for my son. He's in his 20s. He's really interested in this thing. He's really into it. He wants to join with Eric. Like, just want to make sure that coaching is what he needs, because he has these ideas but just doesn't know where to go. So the mom just wanted to make sure that we're legit and that he was going to get exactly what he needed to guide him in the direction that he wanted to go.
Perfect. All right, go ahead, Pierce.
Okay, so he ends up signing up. We meet with him, and I remember he was really enthusiastic. He was like, hey, whatever you guys send me, I can do it. Whatever you send me, I can do it. Whatever you send me, I can do it. And one thing that we dealt with over the years, wow, it feels weird to say that. One thing that we've dealt with over the years is we'll get a lot of people who say, I can do whatever you can send me. And that's their claim to fame. Man, I've done this in the past. I got past experience. I know this guy, and they will talk a good game. So that's when they have to learn. The easy part is getting the contract. The hard part is fulfilling it.
Right.
So what I did was I went, found him a source of thought. I was like, hey, here you go. You know, let's see what happens. So he was like, I think I can do it. And we were like, all right. And conversations went back and forth. And of course, this wasn't something that happened overnight. It wasn't like, hey, we sent it to him and he got it out. But within that 1 month of coaching, we were actually able to get him what he needed to get the conversation rolling. Everything after that, you know, he was no longer a part of the coaching program, but he was able to hold it together on his own. So early 20s, and I want to say over 6 months, I think, of back and forth between him and the contracting officer. Right. So it took him 6 months. Now, to some that might seem like a long time, but you have to think he just decided he wanted to do contracts on a whim. It wasn't like I've been practicing for years for this. No, woke up one day was like, I'm doing contracts. Mom supported him. They ended up hitting us up. We ended up, you know, setting him up with the right opportunity, and he capitalized on it. So we had an email come in and it said, hey, I got the contract. You know, I want to thank you guys so much. And this is a guy in his early 20s. I want to say he's probably 23, 24 at the oldest. Yep. So very young cat. And, you know, was successful at what he does. But it goes back to, you know, putting in the work, because it wasn't an overnight thing. He could have gave up at any moment in time and been like, hey, they're not talking to me, or he could have been like, they're not responding. But he was still following up. He was still doing his due diligence. He was still keeping in contact. He was still building that rapport to make them comfortable enough with him, so that even though he was a new company that started up overnight, they still trusted him enough to award him that contract. And it's things like that where, you know, you get those wins and you're like, man, that's awesome. And then it's
by the way, when he fulfills the contract, it's going to turn into a multi-year contract. I think it's 5 years or 10-year contract. They're going to need these same products delivered for the next 5 to 10 years. 23-year-old kid. So, no, that's awesome, Pierce. That's awesome. I thank you. That's great. I'm so happy that we could, you guys can meet us and meet all the people behind the scenes that you don't get a chance to see. Pierce rarely comes on camera. Even when we meet on Zoom calls, he don't like to come on and show his face and stuff. He always blames it like he's eating or something like that. And so, it's very rare that I can get him out of here. He's a computer guy. So if y'all know computer guys, they don't like to be behind the computer, not in front of the computer. So I understand. I'm an engineer. I've worked with a lot of engineers and scientists and all those genius type people. Pierce is definitely one of those genius folks out there.
He's our investigator and our researcher.
He's our investigator. He's our researcher.
He's our coder.
He's a coder. Like when our program, Maria and I screwed up the program with the buttons and stuff. Okay, I screwed up the program. with Maria watching me screw it up, and then Pierce goes back, finds a company to go at and fix the whole thing for us. By the way, Pierce, Maria wants to talk to you about the list. The list, Maria.
Like what we saw in the other
spreadsheet.
one?
No, the spreadsheet list that people sign up for.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll talk about. Yeah, he's got it, Maria. He's got it. We just haven't talked about it. So.
But then you're in the end.
Yeah. So, but listen. Hey, again, hit the like button if you haven't already hit the like button. Post your questions in there. We're gonna take a few more questions. By the way, just so you know, this is how we actually interact, like on our calls. So we are the person you see here with me. I make it silly. I make it fun. And yes, we did 20-hour days, but when you land 17 million contracts in 1 week, it's worth it. And actually getting the contracts was easier. The 20-hour days didn't come with winning the contracts. It was trying to fulfill them was the 20-hour days afterwards. Getting the contracts became a competition between us, and it was really fun and exciting. And Randie was part of that team. And so we had a blast actually doing it. And it was COVID. So like nobody was working anyway. So everybody was home. So it was kind of like, it was cool to be on the phone with like your buddies and like trying to figure out how to capitalize and make $6 million in profit and how you were going to split it up. And Pierce, what was that house you were going to buy? Pierce had his house picked out. Like he was like, yo, he had this big house picked out.
You know what? I'll tell the story. Whatever. You put it out there. So we're doing these contracts.
Alex, I need some water. I'm gonna get some water. Alex,
he's worried about you.
Thanks, Alex. Go ahead, Pierce.
The pain. So we're doing these contracts, right? And Eric's one of those like you can accomplish it if you can manifest it. So Eric used to send me like these projects and be like, yo, you got to start thinking bigger. Because I still try to live like I'm still in the military, reserve. That way I don't have to worry about anything. So Eric's like, nah, man, you got to think bigger. You got to go bigger. So he's sending me the houses. And we were about to close this deal. The deal was sizable. So we stayed up on the phone until like midnight with all the parties. I think we had the buyer on the phone.
Oh yeah.
On the phone at midnight.
Yeah, so our call started at 11 p.m.
Everybody agrees we're doing this deal. This deal's not gonna fall apart. I hop off the call. I've never been happier in my life. I was like, yo, I just read it. Oh my God. So I know what my split is. My split was a nice size split. I'm just gonna say it like that. So I was like, man, I can go buy this house cash. Like that's how nice the split was. So I'm looking at these houses. You guys, you remember back in the day when you knew you had a fresh fit for the first day of school?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get it, and nobody's gonna touch me. And you're so excited to show off your fit, you don't want to go to sleep. It was like that. So I found this house. I'm excited. I'm like, yo, this is the greatest thing ever. I don't go to sleep until 7 o'clock in the morning. 7 o'clock. I'm finally tired. I'll fall asleep. I'm like, oh man, I don't even know what I'm going to tell people. In the back of my head, I was like, I'm going to buy this house and I'm going to disappear. And nobody's going to find me. Just go off the grid. But 8 o'clock, literally been asleep an hour. Great dreams. 8 o'clock, I get like a message on my phone and like the deal fell apart. Destroyed me. I was just like, what? And I think, was that when Randie was like, I think Randie was talking about like suing somebody or something. It was crazy. Like everybody was livid about their payouts. And it also goes to show you like how great things are when team works. Man, look, my mouth, you don't even know. Oh my gosh. It was more than water. And I'd seen the house. I was bold enough to almost go by there and drive by and be like, you're mine. But I didn't do it. But anyway, I say that to say it also goes to show how teamwork actually helps things work out. So if we would have tried to do those contracts individually, we would have never gotten to that point. We would have never been able to accomplish that in a week. The fact that we chose to work together, it allowed everybody to win. So even with those contracts that we worked out, everybody walked away with either a 6 or a 7-figure payout. So everybody won by coming together. And I know some of you are like, well, how can we do that? We have a whole Facebook group full of people that would love to do contracts. You might not be able to perform a contract in your state or in your city with one of the federal agents that are there, but I'm pretty sure there's somebody in the group that would love to meet with that federal agency that's in your state or your city, and just leverage it. I would say, because anybody can do the same thing. And I saw somebody said they wanted to do something with like lawn maintenance and government.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was. So I'm kind of going back and forth between the two.
I mean, Antoine says I'm behind his computer, so I got behind the scenes. I got you.
So, and Eric don't be telling the whole truth. So Eric, this is why I don't come out front.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So lawn care, lawn maintenance. So with stuff like that, I'm gonna answer Alex's question. I'm gonna go back to the computer question because we almost out of time. But for like the lawn care stuff, I know one thing that people really don't explore that I was telling one of the people out here where I volunteer at, they were just getting started in lawn care, lawn maintenance. And I was telling them that if they wanted to get started in government contracts, an easy way to do that is to go to your National Guard units within your state. So anybody who's been in the military knows how they are about their grass, and they always want it maintained. So you can go to like the National Guard units in your state. Nobody's really looking at them because it's not the big bases, and you can start reaching out there. And that's a low-hanging fruit that you can go after. I know this isn't a coaching call, but I saw it and I was like, yeah, quick answer.
No, that's fine.
But also with that, with the lawn maintenance, I know one of our guys, what's his name? I could see his face. He was actually
Fiverr.
Yes, he was actually at a site visit. And they were just walking around and he's like, hey,
that's a good story.
Your lawn just needs a little bit of like the edging or cutting or something.
Right.
So the guy, the site visit, I don't know if it's contracting officer, site engineer, or whatever. He's like, oh, can you do it? He's like, yeah. So they did a credit card purchase. He came out there, mowed their lawn, did the grass thing, and he got his first contract by credit card purchase, just asking of their line maintenance.
That's true.
See, I do this for federal.
Let's answer Trust and Way's question. I do this for federal, and I was getting into state and local. Is it the same for assuming past performance for state and local contracts as well? It's a little confusing, the question, but
he's asking is his local and state, is it going to bleed over to the federal? I mean,
any
past performance, so it's better than nothing. Something is better than nothing. So that's how they're going to do it. What you're going to have to probably deal with is they're going to want to call those previous contacts that you had on those contracts. So just be aware that they're going to ask, since it's not at the federal level, they're going to probably scrutinize a little bit more. But something is better than nothing. You have some sort of experience, so don't discredit yourself because it's not at the federal level.
Right. No, definitely. Any type of experience, past performance, city, state. If it's private sector, commercial, it all counts. So a lot of our podcast guests, I'll be honest with you, they've said that they started off like, I was listening to a story recently where one person was doing stuff for like, I don't know, it was the police department or something like that. Anywhere they can get work from in their business, it will help. And that goes back to Mark Higgins' question, Mark, about being a 1099er. Again, as a business person, right, that you're trying to grow out a team, you don't want to limit yourself to being an actual employee or a contractor for someone. You want to be a consultant so you can build out a real business, because that's how you're going to make the money. Like those contracts that we're talking about were our contracts. We owned it, right? So that's where the real money came in. That's why we could talk about such big numbers. That's why Pierce could go buy that house for cash, because he, So, but look, your comeback will be greater than your setback. So, listen, honestly, we have such a good time, and it brought us all together. And so I think it's for us, we're now able to use those experiences, plus all the things that we're doing, to be able to share it with you guys. And again, we're continuing to work and build and grow our companies. And like I said, I've had two people, just so everyone knows, I literally, in the last 2 days, I had two people. One was on here earlier. And then I spoke to Mike today. I spoke to Leilani. I spoke to Colin, and they're all ready for me to start my 8K program for the Elite Circle. And so in there, we're going to start talking about actually, which Pierce likes, is like buying businesses, investing in businesses, merging with companies, things like that. We're going to talk about higher level things that once you get past understanding procurement, winning contracts, building a business, then you could go off to that next thing, which is, buying and acquiring companies, mergers, acquisitions, things like that. So I'm ready to get this month over with, to get this whole thing passed, because I'm ready to go to that next level with my students who are at that level where they want to make a 8K investment, so we can talk about how to take them to multi-millions and acquisition status. So, and I've, again, like in the last 2 days, I've spoke to 3 people that are ready to go. What else? We got a couple minutes. We're going to close out tonight. Let's see.
I think that's more for you, Eric.
I'm a new real estate broker who's made 0. Any ideas for me in my 50s? Thanks.
Depending on where it's at in GSA, looking for buildings and stuff that they can actually acquire to be able to rent out.
Yeah, just a source of thought thing for a leasing of buildings.
There's always source of thought for leasing of buildings. GSA constantly is actually, they're not only looking for leasing of spaces, they're looking for, because you're a broker, you can actually represent GSA on the GSA side to help them negotiate agreements with private sector companies. So, for example, a friend of mine owns a shopping center, and GSA was being represented by a real estate brokerage, represented GSA's interest to help them find a contract. Listen, the government contracts out all this stuff. So even GSA was using a broker to negotiate for GSA. Does that make sense, Cardio One? So again, I think for you, what I would do is find out, I would spend my time digging around GSA. And by the way, GSA they have probably the most events, trainings of any other federal agency that I know of. GSA, because GSA represents, they manage all of the facilities around the country, or the majority, not all of them, 100%, but they manage whatever, 90% of facilities, 30 million square foot of buildings. And they also manage contracts that they support other agencies. They put on a lot of training, a lot of workshops. GSA themselves is like a broker for other federal agencies. So General Services Administration is the name, Cardio One. GSA stands for General Services Administration. If you Google GSA leasing, GSA real estate, you'll find that. So they're a monster out there. There's a lot of training. There's a lot of free information. And again, if you want to do a 30-minute call with one of our coaches about it, you can always do that. Hold on. My man Michael Ford said, your free info is enough to win a contract about to jump in that inner circle. Yeah, no, Michael, it's funny that you mentioned that. I was on Erika Classy Climb's YouTube last week, guys, last week or week before, a week or 2 weeks ago. Her personal trainer, right? Now, Erika, if you don't know her, has 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. She's a general general YouTube channel and a blog. And so I was on her show. Before I came on, she told me that her personal trainer watched my content, won some personal training contracts. They were small, like micro purchases type stuff. But then as they got more comfortable with him, the same federal agency, the office, hired him to help design and build out their new fitness studio. And so you're right, Michael. So that's a success story that she gave me of her own personal trainer. Go ahead,
but
Mary.
also, even right now on the chat and on this YouTube live, we have Sean. He's going to be on a podcast soon. Just by the free content alone, he just won his first contract as a prime.
Yep.
So he's on here. Leilani's on here. You have a lot of people that from your free course, Alex that was on the podcast, just from the free YouTube videos, they win contracts. So if you get it from the free, imagine what you're getting on the inside.
And my man Michael won a 4K contract at City and 32K at the VA.
Congrats.
Congratulations. Listen, and you know what I like about this is more fascinating. A lot of people are complaining about all the videos I have and all the content. It's there for you. It's there for you. So you have to be the one to spend the time, invest the time to go through and watch it. One of the things that I say that I've learned, and I'm teaching my son, we can see who watched the whole video. So watching 5 minutes of an hour video is not going to help you. I promise you, Michael, I don't even know who Michael Ford is, but I guarantee you he spent a lot of time learning first before he got started. I can guarantee you that he spent hours and hours and hours learning and investing his education before he actually went out and stepped up to the next level. So, all right. What else?
think that's it.
Hold
And
on.
going with that, somebody asked earlier about local, state, and city. Like a lot of some of our students have taken what they learned and applied it to local and state because it's all business also. So you can take what you learn and apply it to that as well. But we don't teach local and state.
No, but Maria, we do have with the Orlando and Karen, we do have two of the guests that are speaking this year. They're going to talk about local and state contracts. And we'll bring John Bowen in as well to talk about local. So we will bring in some people this year to talk about state and local contracts. Yes, people are complaining. Yes, people are complaining about free. Yes, because they want us. They want it to be spoon fed. So we do that, but you got to pay for that. So again, hey, thank you, guys. And so, hey, look, Maria, I'll let you say some final words. I'll let Pierce say some final words, and we're gonna close out.
Okie dokie.
It's been 2 hours.
I know. I just want to let everyone know, just because I started from nothing, and a lot of you guys, and I say because I hear it from our students that are now successful, how my story has inspired them. Guys, I knew nothing. Like, honestly, I didn't even know what government contracting was. You guys at least got war dogs and all that. I know nothing. So if I was able to take the information from Eric's videos and learn it, I say learn by default, but I had to learn it. And then Eric pushed me to be out there. And by taking the course when it was 1.0, I sat there and I heard the videos and everything else. I was able to do it. So do yourself a favor and make this investment, because there's so much that goes on and there's so much more being added, the Tuesday calls and everything else. Like, this is what you guys need. You need someone to push you. And I think that's what our community gives you, is that push towards doing it, getting out there, getting out of your comfort zone, having that, Eric and I go back, fear of success versus fear of failure. Sometimes you are afraid of succeeding. Like, what if it does happen? Like we all say, getting the contract is the easy part. So just do it for yourselves. Do it for your families, especially. If you don't have it in you to do it for yourself, always remember your why. Like, I'm doing it to retire my mom. That is my goal. So that's why I keep pushing myself in order to get out there. So take advantage. You have 3 days. I know it's $1,000 for the normal people out here. $1,000 is a lot of money. But I promise you, as an investment, do what you need to do, because you are investing in yourselves. And like you hear it a lot, the people that invested that money, it has multiplied afterwards. So your $1,000 is going to create so much more. So those are my 2 cents.
Also, just a caveat that, so one thing that I always tell people is, a lot of the people that are watching this, you guys have LLCs and you guys have your own businesses. Yeah, you can pay the $1,000 now, but at the end of the fiscal year, you can write it off as a business training expense, because you're actually training yourself to actually be able to work on your business. So even though you're paying $1,000 now, at the end of the year, you're going to get it back. That would be the main thing that I would look at it as. And that's actually what I did when I actually purchased the course back in the day. And man, make sure you buy it before it goes up to $1,000. I didn't buy it at $1,000, but I'm going to tell you guys how I messed up. Eric offered the course for free, and I did not take it. Like, I got the email multiple times, and I did not take the same course as $1,000 back when it was free. So yeah.
One thing we know is when Eric says something, it's like putting it in permanent marker. He's not penciling things in. He's not telling you. He's not warning you. Like, it's done. It's both in good things and in bad things. Like with things that you manifest that this is going to happen, and I promise you it's going to happen. He told me to change my goal, my monetary goal, from my 250 to, he's like, no, $1 million. He's like, did you write $1 million? I'm like, yes. So he's like, okay, just leave it alone. Don't worry about how it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. So you just have to have that mentality. And a lot of it that we talk about also, yes, we teach you how to do this, but we also do a lot of like how to motivate you mentally, because it's a lot of mental stuff also. Like, you have to believe in yourself. If you're not going to believe in yourself, then no matter what information we are feeding you, we could spoon feed you, we could take you there, we could take you to all these events and give you everything, but it's just not going to happen. So you have to put it within yourself to get these things done.
Another thing, because I know we got to wrap up. Another thing is, hey, Maria was motivating everybody.
No, Maria went hard.
Go
for it. Keep talking.
But what I was going to say also is, if you guys are doing coaching, if you do sign up for the coaching, any type of coaching, be it the 30 minutes, the executive, or whatever, treat it like you're going to the doctor's office. You know, if you are signing up for the 30-minute coaching, you only got 30 minutes. So what you want to do is come up with the question that you want in advance, notify Erika. That way she can let us know. That way when we come to the call, we can just start off the call giving you value. That way you're not wasting 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes explaining to us your issues. Because you're going to explain to us your issues, we're going to have to either research them or go through them with you. And that's going to encompass your whole call. Where if you were to, pre-plan and kind of send it to us in advance, we can come in with solutions. And you can get a full 30 minutes solutions and, get your full money's worth. And again, it's training, man. Save that invoice, save that receipt, save that charge, and then write it off, at the end of the fiscal year.
I'm covering my face because
Spanish, I saw that. I was like, that's all Maria right there.
That's all Maria, that's Spanish stuff.
Lenier, yo sé que la información es muy importante. Y yo voy a tomar el tiempo y estoy tomando el tiempo para hacer más videos para informarle a ustedes, porque yo sé la importancia de ser una mujer hispana, una mujer que vino aquí de otro país, que vimos que los padres sufrieron para tenerlos aquí. Entonces, yo sé la importancia y de todo corazón, yo sé que necesitan toda esta información también.
All right, look at that. Bam. Bam, bam, bam. I love it. I love it. Hey, listen. Look, Sylvia. It says she wanted to guarantee that 5 million. Eric says to make sure we could get. Sylvia, listen. We already have 5 people. Hear me out. Oh, that's my broken finger. I'm gonna hold his hand up. Maria always laughing about my broken finger. We have 5 people right now, students that have exceeded the $5 million mark. 5. We have a few dozen that have exceeded the $1 million mark. We've already had 5 people that done it. So again, like Pierce said, it's up to you what you want to do. The information is there. So it's just up to you what you're going to do, how are you going to do, how are you going to take it and apply it and make this a reality? Because like I said, I'm mentally, I'm already like on to the inner circle stuff because I'm getting so many calls and messages that people they're begging me to take their money to go to this next program because they know the value of what we're about to teach and that next level. So that's where I'm at mentally is that, hey, those SBICs that we already talked about that I mentioned the other day, we're going to start working with some of those SBICs, some of those funds to help you small businesses buy companies so that you can then take that company, buy a $5 million business, a $7 million business. Imagine if we can give you the money, the funds to buy this company. You already know government contracting, and now you take them into the government contracting space, and you're the owner. But you got to first start small, right? Understanding this, putting in the work, getting beat across the head a couple of times, like Pierce. We all have those stories. Maria got beat head across the head a couple of times. As you hear, all of them are sharing stories of where they did work and they didn't necessarily get paid. And don't forget Pierce and Maria. When I first met all of you, I said, in this group, there's going to be some of us that don't get paid. Y'all remember that? That was like 3 years ago. And so before you actually go out there and make the big bucks, you got to go through some challenges. So again, I just want to share that with everybody out there. Looking forward to meeting all of you. Maria's taking over. She's going to be running the Tuesday calls. But she's always got me in the background helping out. And so we're going to be here to support everybody. Like my man, Antoine, earn or learn, baby. Again, catching hell and calling it fun. And I think the person said it very well about, your talents, which are paid for, your gift is what you're made for. Yes, Marcus. So as you guys know, I love this stuff. This is exciting for me. Look, I've been up since early morning you see it's 9 o'clock at night. So I'm still putting in those same hours. This hasn't changed for me. I just don't involve everybody anymore. They'll tell you, I send emails at 3 a.m, 4 a.m, 5 a.m. So because I enjoy it. So, hey, thanks, Maria. Thank you, Pierce, for joining us. I appreciate it. Look, I love this comment. See what say? I'm used to not getting paid. I work for the church. Boom! That's how you close out the
Now
day.
you get paid in prayers.
Right. By the way, Sylvia, bonding companies tell contractors, don't go work for the churches because they don't like to pay. I don't care if it's a Catholic church. They don't like to pay. Bonding companies, statistically, remember, these are finance companies. They look at the churches and they say over time, churches don't pay people. So, all right, guys, listen, we got to ride. I got to let these people go to sleep, man. All right. I can ride out all night, but I got to let my other team go to sleep. Look at Tammy just joined late, but she showed up. All right. I'm into this broadcast. Oh, look, Marcus said, hey, I'm a pastor. That ain't funny. Yeah, Marcus.
Learn or earn, Marcus.
Marcus, we like to learn and earn, but we ain't going to be learning right here, give me all free stuff. So we going to earn. We want to earn most of the time. All right. We're out of here. See you. I'm ending it.
Bye.